Hello and welcome to Rathod Science Academy. Today in this session we are going to see very important articles that appear in today's in the newspaper. So let's get started with our discussion guys. First of all, I'll let you know the important topics of the day and later on I will be explaining each and every topic from prelims and as well as mains point of view. And at last I'll be giving you the prelims practice questions as well guys. So please don't skip this video anyway. Please do watch until last. Okay, let us see the topics of the day. The first one is Trump pauses Iran strikes, says deal is likely. So this article is talking about deal between US and Iran. And here this article is saying that we are going to have a deal soon. So here you have to see about what is the deal is about and why suddenly they are talking about this deal now. And you have to see what are the possible impacts of this deal. And this topic is important from GS paper 2 under international relations. Next topic is Center Mull's delimitation based on 2011 census to implement women's quota. So as you all know that recently 106 constitutional amendment act had been passed. It talks about 33% of reservation for women. So now here we are going to do this delimitation based on this 2011 census and this topic is important from GS paper 2 under polity. And next topic is US-led Pax Silica is a step towards digital colonialism. So here we know that recently US came up with one grouping called as Pax Silica and India also joined this Pax Silica on the sidelines of India AI Summit. Now here one leader who is saying that this Pax Silica is a step towards digital colonialism. Here you have to see why this grouping is going to be a digital colonialism. So what is the reasons behind this? And this topic is important from GS paper 2 under international relations. And next topic is the evolving diagnostic landscape for tuberculosis. Silence please. So this article is talking about tuberculosis and actually every year we'll celebrate tuberculosis day on this March 24th. So most of our articles in our newspaper related to this tuberculosis. So here this topic is important from GS paper 3 under science and technology and even from GS paper 2 under governance also you can see this topic. And next topic is path ahead for Nepal's new leadership. As we know that recent elections had been done in this Nepal and finally new government is going to be formed in Nepal. So how it is going to impact India-Nepal relations and you have to say about what are the things that we have to learn from this Nepal elections. So this topic is again important from GS paper 2 under international relations. So these all are the topics now we are going to discuss in this class. Read this title guys. Trump pauses, Iran strikes, says deal is likely. So what is the meaning of this title? Trump pauses. What is the meaning of pause? Stop. Trump stopped Iran strikes, says deal is likely. What is the meaning of this? Trump stopped attacking Iran for some time and in this time they will go for talks and if talks continue in a positive way they will come up with a deal, right? So this is that topic. And why they have to come up with a deal? What is the reason? Why they want to come up with a deal now? Come on, just guess. Assets, okay, because of this attacks loss of assets is happening, especially US bases in this West Asia is getting affected. So to protect their assets they want to come up with a deal. Okay, accepted. Any other reasons? Peace, okay, to establish peace is also one important reason. Next, anything? Okay, to avoid future economic crisis. Give me example for that, how we can avoid some future economic crisis. We want to protect our supply chains of oil and as well as gas because yes, global oil is coming from this route, especially via this Strait of Hormuz. Next. And even US is also using the Strait of Hormuz to trade with other countries and you know that recently Iran closed the Strait of Hormuz. So to reopen this obviously we need to have this deal. Okay, now tell me if this deal had been done successfully between India and US and this is Iran. So what will be the possible impact? What will be the possible impact if this deal is finalized? If in case this deal is finalized, what will be the impact on the world? Energy security can be maintained. Next. prices of global oil will be for sure reduced. Next, trade can be ensured. Overall economic development of the countries will be enhanced, and free movement of people and the goods can be ensured, and we can also increase security and safety in this Indian Ocean region. So those will be the possible impacts of finalization of this deal between US and Iran. Clear? Okay, now let us see here the key points which are given in this article. The first one here is planned attacks on Iran's power infrastructure will be postponed for 5 days. So US President Donald Trump gave a statement that we are going to stop this attacks on Iran's power infrastructure for next 5 days. This is the first thing he said. And this one is, they said that we are going to come up with the key points of agreement in this dialogue so that we can resolve hostilities in Middle East. But nowhere in any article in newspapers it didn't give about what are these points of agreement. So if that agreement has been done or that deal is done, so we can get some points like what are the things that they are there in this agreement. Unless and until this deal is finalized, we will not get to know what exactly the points in that agreement. And next one here is Tehran denies talks were being held, saying that fake news is intended to escape. So here on one side, US is saying that Iran wants to make the deal, but on another side, Iran is saying that no, we are not involved in that. We don't want to have that deal. So like that, there are certain articles saying that yes, deal is going to happen, and in some articles they are saying that Iran is denying this kind of talks. So as you all know what Trump will do. Trump also said that earlier, I only mediated between India and Pakistan. I only stopped war between India and Pakistan. So like that, he may be doing something. But actually this article is saying that Trump is posing strikes on Iran and they are going to have a deal. And once this deal finalized, then only we will come to know what are the points of this agreement or the dialogue. Clear? So now here you have to see some important points. The first important point here is why they are coming with this kind of deal now. What is the reason? The first one here is on 22nd and 23rd of March, they went for some talks. Because of this, they are saying that the outcome of that talk is we are going to have a dialogue. And the second important one here is, because of this kind of attacks, retaliation on one another, what is happening here? Major infrastructure, it may be nuclear sites, it may be power generation sites, and it may be water infrastructure, whatever it may be, so it is lost. And you know that Iran is targeting some hospitals, especially military bases, so it is causing huge civilian loss, also civilian crisis. To stop that for some time, so they are coming up with this kind of agreement. And next one here is, even there is increased market pressure globally. Why? Because most of the countries are dependent on this oil and gas from this West Asia. So if these countries are reducing the production, if this Strait of Hormuz had been closed, there is no movement of vessels which are carrying this oil and as well as gas. So not only India, different countries are facing crisis, especially China. China is hit the hardest. Why? Because 90% of its oil, it is coming from only Iran to this China. So because of this, what is happening? International markets, there is increased outrage. So they are saying that yes, we want oil. Okay, that is the next reason. And next one here is US is also losing a lot because of its military bases which are under attack. So because of all these reasons, now they are saying that we are going to come up with a deal soon. Okay. And what are the possible impacts? The first one here is we can ensure oil supply, we can ensure trade through the Strait of Hormuz, and this one is we can ensure peace in this region, stability and security we can provide in this Indian Ocean part, and global oil prices will be reduced, and overall global economy will be revitalized because of this deal. Clear? Okay, see this next article, guys. Center moves delimitation based on 2011 census to implement women's quota. Read this title and tell me what does it refers to. Central government wants to start delimitation based on 2011 census. Why? To implement women's quota. Okay, to understand this, we have to know the background. So what is the background? Government of India passed this 106 Constitution Amendment Bill and it had become an act. So this 106 Constitution Amendment Act, what is the name of that? Nari Shakti? Full. Tell me, Govind. Nari Shakti? Okay, Nari Shakti Vandan Adhiyan. So what it talks about? 33% of reservation for whom? 33% of reservation for women in where? In Lok Sabha and as well as legislative assemblies. In state legislative assemblies and Lok Sabhas, this act is saying that 33% of reservation of seats for women. Okay, so it passed. But do we implemented that? We didn't implemented that. What is the reason? At the time of this passage of this bill, what government said is, we will go for delimitation. Delimitation, what is the meaning of delimitation? It is drawing the boundaries of constituency. What is the rule here? Each and every constituency need to have same population. Okay, so that is the criteria of this delimitation. So actually now now whatever the constituencies we have, it is based on 1971 census. Here now, if you want to implement this new rule of 33% of reservation, we need to have the new census. So what is meaning of census? Census is nothing but counting the number of population of our country. That we'll do once in every how many years? 10 years. So last census did in 2011. After that in 2021 we need to have census. But because of COVID-19 pandemic that had been delayed. And now we are in 2026. Even today also the process of the census had not yet been started. That is the thing that we know, right? So here, after this passage of bill, they said that we are going to come up with census in 2026. After this census, exact present population data, we will go for delimitation. After delimitation, we will implement this 33% of reservation. That is a story. But earlier we discussed some articles, I think 10 days ago or like 1 week ago. What we discussed? Till today, we didn't start our census process. If we start by 2027, so finalizing of data will take lot of time, and after finalization of this census data, again based on that we have to go for drawing of boundaries. It will go beyond 2030. But when is our elections? 2029 we have elections. That means we are going to miss the target of implementation of this in 2029 election. So because of this, now what government is doing is, rather than taking this new census data, now government said that if we want to implement this 33% of reservation and if we want to use that in this 2029 election, now we will use this 2011 census data. Based on that, we'll go for delimitation and we'll implement this reservation for women now in this 2029 elections. So this is the idea. Are you understanding the thing? So this is the earlier story which is written in the green color, and after that white color is about recent article that we discussed, and now whatever the thing I wrote here is the thing that is present now. Okay, so we are going to take now 2011 census data and we will come up with the delimitation, and now we will implement this 33% of reservation quota for women in Lok Sabha and as well as state legislative assembly. So this is the thing is, and in this year prelims you may get question regarding this 106 Constitutional Amendment Act. This is the first area, and second one here is you may get question regarding this delimitation. So these two are the important things that you have to see, guys, and keep star mark for this. I don't know what will you do. You have to know all those things. Delimitation, what is a delimitation? What is the criteria of delimitation? Who has the power to ensure delimitation, and what is the process will follow? What are the advantages, disadvantages, everything that we have to know for sure. And regarding this 106 Constitutional Amendment Act, they may give in this way. Even in 2024 also there was a question on this 106 Constitutional Amendment Act, and 2025 there is no question, and in 2026 you may expect the question. Okay. Consider the following statements regarding this 106 Constitutional Amendment Act. They may give you 2 to 3 statements and they may ask you which of the above are correct or incorrect and how many statements are correct or incorrect. So these are the two types of questions that you can expect from this 106 Constitutional Amendment Act. Clear? Okay, now let us see the article. The government plans to introduce an amendment bill in the ongoing budget session for what? To conduct delimitation based on 2011 census data. Okay, they are going to introduce constitutional amendment bill, right? So here how many types of bills do we have? Ordinary bill, money bill, finance bill, constitutional amendment bill. Okay, what is the difference between ordinary bill and a money bill? Do we have any difference? What is the difference? Ordinary bill can be introduced in any house. It may be Lok Sabha or Rajya Sabha. What about money bill? It has to introduce only in Lok Sabha. Do we need any prior permission of president regarding ordinary bill? But what in case of money bill? Yes. What about assent? Should president give compulsory assent for this ordinary bill or he can enjoy his veto powers? He can enjoy his veto powers. Then what in the case of money bill? Yes or no? He must give his assent, right? So now tell me in the case of constitutional amendment bill, can we introduce that in Lok Sabha only or Rajya Sabha as well? Both houses. Do we need prior recommendation of president? Again confusion started. Yes? Okay, what about this states consideration? Do we need to take states consideration regarding this constitutional amendment bill? Yes or no? In all cases? Only if it is changing the federal character, then only we have to take permission of the states. How? By at least minimum 50% of states should ratify. And what is the majority that we need to pass that ordinary bill, money bill and constitutional amendment bill? Which majority we need? Special majority for constitutional amendment bill. What about ordinary and money bill then? Simple majority, right? So in that way you have to clearly know about what exactly that bill is and what are the provisions, what is the difference between one bill to another bill. Because many a times UPSC asked question regarding this money bill and constitutional amendment bill are like repeated themes of UPSC BYQs. Okay, now here this article is saying that government plans to introduce this constitutional amendment bill in now whatever the session is going on, that is budget session, and they want to conduct delimitation based on 2011 census. So if you are using this 2011 census data, so the number of seats in Lok Sabha will be changed because from this 1971 till this 2011, that is 2011, so lots of change in the population had happened, right? And delimitation is nothing but drawing boundaries on the constituencies based on population. So if population increase means obviously constituencies will be increased. If constituencies will be increased means obviously the number of seats will be increased, right? So how many seats do we have now? 543 seats in Lok Sabha, right? So now because of this 2011 census, if we use that and if we go for delimitation based on that, these seats are going to be increased to 816 in Lok Sabha now. Okay, are you understanding? And next one here is out of this 816, if we want to implement this 33% of reservation for women, how many seats will be allocated for women of this total seats in Lok Sabha? Around 273 seats are reserved for women now. That means can we ensure women participation, more women participation in this politics or not? That will lead to obviously women empowerment. Okay, so why we are going to use this 2011 census? The reason here is the next census is delayed. And if census is delayed, obviously delimitation is a very complex phenomena and it will take much more time. So because of this, we will miss this 2029 elections. Because of this, now we are going to use this 2011 census for delimitation. And next one here is 2011 data allows the delimitation commission to set up very quickly so that we can complete this entire exercise of delimitation by this 2029. Before elections we will be ready. That is the next reason. And next one here is, if you are not going for this implementation of delimitation by using this 2011 data, we will be having a confusion that in next 2034 elections also, like whether we will be ready or not. Yes or no? So if this census is going to be delayed, means obviously the delimitation will be getting delayed. So we will be not having a clarity, like even in 2034 we will implement this 33% reservation or not, because already it had been passed, it became an act. But after becoming an act also, if we are not implementing on the practical level, means people will be losing the trust on this government, on judiciary, on parliament, on laws, everything. So that will erode entirely the idea of democracy in our country. So because of this, we are implementing that, guys. Okay, the aim of this constitutional amendment bill is fast track women representation, and we want to avoid prolonged wait. Okay, so for that we are going to use this, guys. And what are the key impacts of this implementation of this 33% of reservation? Obviously we can improve women representation in our Lok Sabha. And what about the impact on Rajya Sabha and council? Do we have any impact? What is the impact do we have? Do we have any impact on Rajya Sabha and this council? Second house? What is that impact? It is talking about reservation only in Lok Sabha and Assembly. So it is not talking about reservation of women in Rajya Sabha and councils. So there will be no impact on Rajya Sabha. So in this way you will get a statement like 33% of reservation for women or 106 Constitutional Amendment Act will have impact on Rajya Sabha and Legislative Council. There is increased number of seats. It is a trap because it is talking about only Assembly and as well as Lok Sabha, not councils and Rajya Sabha. Clear? So first important point that you have to remember is there will be around 50% of increased seats in Lok Sabha, and there will be around 273, that is 1/3 of seats are reserved for women now. And in the state assemblies also there is similar proportion of increase. And in state in this assemblies also we have like 33% of reservation for women, and Rajya Sabha and legislative councils are unaffected. This is a very very important point on this. UPSC can trap you guys. And if you see about this political, if you want to pass this Constitutional Amendment Act, we need special majority. Special majority is nothing but two-thirds of majority that we need. And next one here is, we are also going to face some challenges because of using this outdated 2011 census. Because from 2011 to 2026 also there is rapid increase of population was there, right? So we don't know again how, when we can update our delimitation everything. So after once we done in this 2011. Okay, so these are the things that you have to remember. So this next article, guys, US-led Pax Silica is a step towards digital colonialism. Okay, what is the meaning of this title? Read out this title and tell me what is the meaning. Keyword is Pax Silica. Have you heard about this Pax Silica? What is this Pax Silica is about? Yeah, it is about protection of supply chains of semiconductors, that you know. And who is the lead of this Pax Silica? Who is leading this grouping? US. US-led Pax Silica is a step towards digital colonialism. Have you heard about this word colonialism? I think in your modern history you came across this word colonialism. What is the meaning of colonialism? What is the meaning? British colonial power. What is colonialism? What is the meaning of this word colonialism? Abhigna? Have you heard this at least? Then tell me what is this? Take control over them. Okay, what is the meaning of digital colonialism then? Digital means? Digitalization. What does mean digital? Come on, online students. Kranti, go in. Okay, now, okay, so this article is saying that this US-led Pax Silica is a step towards digital colonialism. So what is the meaning of this title of this article? Yes, US is going to have monopoly over semiconductors. Yes, that is the meaning. Yes, now you guys tell me, why is there any substantiation or is there any arguments in favor to say that US is going to colonialize or US is going to show the monopoly over semiconductors? Why this statement is there in news? So now you know budget session is going on. Are you following the sessions, anyone? Don't say that there is no time. So here one opposition party leader asked ruling party regarding this Pax Silica, and he said that US-led Pax Silica is going to monopolize this. US will monopolize this semiconductors. So why the statement given by this Congress leader? Benefit to the US. How? How it will be benefiting US? Okay, how can you expect a question here from means? India join this or not? Yes, India joined this US-led Pax Silica. In this context, what are the challenges and what are the opportunities India will get? In this way, you'll get a mains-based question. From prelims, how can you get a question? Recently, Pax Silica is in use. What is it? A, B, C, D. Simple question. And if they want to complicate the question, they'll give the statement based. Consider the following statements regarding Pax Silica. They'll give you 2 to 3 statements and they will ask you to identify correct or incorrect statements. And if they want to further complicate, they'll give you pair based question. They will search this kind of groupings. Like we have RCEP, G20, Pax Silica. Recently Board of Peace is also there, no? Can you recall that? Board of Peace, Pax Silica. They may give you 3 to 4 groupings on one side and they'll give you aims of that or led by. And they will ask you to identify the correct pairs. Are you getting? So these are the 3 types of questions you can get from this Pax Silica, and this is one of the expected topic. Please keep star mark. If you say about this Pax Silica, it is US-led non-binding initiative. Very, very important. What is the meaning of non-binding? What is the meaning of legally binding and legally not binding? I think in your environment and ecology, you came across lots of protocols, conventions. Some says that legally binding, some says legally not binding. What is the meaning of binding and non-binding? Yes, non-binding means it is not mandatory. If you are also the member of that grouping, if you are not following all those things, you will be not getting punished. But binding means you have to mandatorily 100% you have to follow the rules and regulations. If you are not following that, you will be also attracted towards punishments. That is called as binding and non-binding difference. So here it is non-binding initiative. Very, very important. If UPSC wants to give a question that too based on statements, it will give you that US-led Pax Silica is a binding agreement. So in that way, UPSC will make the statements. In the place of binding, they'll keep non-binding. In the place of non-binding, they'll keep binding. So if you're getting this kind of things, you have to think thrice or 4 times whether it is yes or no. So this is one trap normally used by UPSC. Okay, so this Pax Silica is US-led non-binding initiative launched by Trump administration in December 2015. And finally, India joined this Pax Silica on the sidelines of India AI Summit. Okay, so what is the name of Pax? Pax means peace or prosperity, and silica means nothing but silicon, or it is a foundational mineral for making of semiconductors. They want to ensure supply chains of this critical minerals and the semiconductors free from any domination. That is the idea behind this Pax Silica. Why? Because these critical minerals are very important for manufacturing of semiconductors, and these semiconductors are very important for this AI infrastructure and as well as logistics. That means if any country wants to move towards developed state, for sure they need the semiconductors. Without the semiconductors, we cannot enhance our economy in this present era. And the core goal is to reduce dependency on China. Very, very important. and they want to promote joint investments among the trusted partners, and they want to secure technology ecosystem for AI dominance now. And India joined this on February 20th, 2026 on the sidelines of this AI Impact Summit, and other countries who joined this Pax Silica were Japan, South Korea, UK, Australia, Israel, Netherlands, Singapore, Qatar, UAE. So how can you get a questions? Like consider the following countries. They'll give you 5 to 7. Which of the above joined this Pax Silica? This is also one possible question, guys. Okay, what is the criticism now? Why this opposition party leaders, they are raising questions in this session? The first one here is, critics are saying that this Pax Silica is US centric. It is US led grouping. So because of this now, who will set the standards? Obviously US will set the standards regarding export controls and regarding who is a trusted country. So all these things will be decided by US. Now US can show its monopoly on this supply chains of semiconductors. That is the first important thing. So that it will be affecting smaller countries' sovereignty as well. So here US is dictating the smaller countries, right? So it will be affecting the sovereignty of the smaller countries. That is the second one. And next one here is, here we are, after once we become the member of that Pax Silica, we are forced to align with US style negotiations, regulations, technology transfer restrictions, and even very strict security audits can happen. So because of this, what happens, sometimes Indian firms will be getting disadvantages. That is the third one. And next one here is, there is a fear that participation may subordinate India's digital future to US strategic interest. So here India have its own ambitions, goals of reaching largest economy, 5 trillion economy, digital India, everything. If US is dictating all these on India, means obviously it will be affecting our interest regarding to digitalization as well. So we have to be subordinate. Subordinates means nothing but we have to listen to the words of US regarding this semiconductors. That is the next important concern. And next one here is, Pax Silica can create silicon curtain which will divide the world into US aligned countries. That will further leads to worsening of supply chains of semiconductors, guys. So these are the some important concerns which are raised in this article. Clear? So you may get question like how it is going to be affecting our India's interest, or what is the criticism of this? Will you say okay for this, or what is your stand on this? On this also you may get your interview questions. Okay, what are the benefits now? The first one here is, we can secure critical minerals. Obviously we can decrease our dependency on countries like China. So we can get the semiconductors from this multiple countries now. Okay, and next one here is, we can increase our AI infrastructure in our country, and we can also get the semiconductors at a low price. If you are dependent on only one country, we have to purchase from that so and so country with whatever the price they will sell. So if you are having multiple things, then what happens? We can negotiate the prices and we can get for the less price. And if you are getting more and more semiconductors now, if you are developing more and more semiconductors, even we can attract more and more investments into our country related to this digital infrastructure as well, so that we can maintain good foreign reserves as well, and we can also maintain the global standards, and India will become a key player in this global arena. So like that, we are having lots of advantages joining this Pax Silica. On another side, we are also having this negative things. Clear? Say this next article, look at the title, guys. The evolving diagnostic landscape for tuberculosis. Okay, so every year we'll celebrate TB Day on 24th of March. Okay. So here what exactly you have to see, guys. What do you know about TB? TB is nothing but tuberculosis. It is a disease which causes, which organ is affected? Which organ is affected by TB? Only lungs? No, it's wrong actually. TB is nothing but tuberculosis. In this disease, we have two types. One is pulmonary TB. Next one is extrapulmonary TB. Recently, there is one article in Indian Express, I think last week. I don't know whether you have read that or not. Just while drinking water, I saw that paper on this your reading table, and I read that article. In that article, they said that if you're getting a long-term back pain, it is not just back pain; it is TB. That is the article that I read. It is if you're having this long-term back pain, it is not only some effect in your bones. It is also a cause. It is also a TB. That is the article. So actually, many people they will believe that this TB means only it will be affecting lungs. No. So will this bacteria knows that it has to affect only lungs? There are other organs also in our body, right? So they may attack any organ. Why only lungs? Are you understanding? If that bacteria, if it is affecting lungs, it is called as pulmonary TB. But if it is attacking other organs in your body, that is called as extrapulmonary TB. And even our eyes will also get TB. You will not believe this. Our eyes will also get affected by this TB. Okay, so here we have two types of TB. One is pulmonary TB and next one is extrapulmonary. Pulmonary means it will be affecting our respiratory tract. If it is affecting our respiratory tract, it is called as pulmonary. In this extrapulmonary, it may affect your intestines, it may affect your heart, it may affect your eyes, it may affect your kidneys, it may affect other internal organs. That is called as extrapulmonary TB. Okay, so this TB is caused by either bacteria or virus. Bacteria. The name of that bacteria, anyone? Mycobacterium tuberculosis is a bacteria which causes TB. Okay, now tell me guys, if it is a pulmonary TB, what kind of symptoms we can see in the patient? Cough. While you are coughing, they will get sometimes sputum. Sometimes they'll get blood in the severe cases. Next, fever. Because of this cough continuously, they cannot have the rest during the sleep, and even they cannot take proper food diet. So because of this, what happened? Excessive weight loss can be seen in that patient, and very high grade fever will be happening. So what is the meaning that if you are getting fever? Fever means nothing but normally we will see that there is increasing of body temperature, you will get headache and you will not able to get up from the bed. But why your body temperature will be increased? But why your body temperature will be getting increased if you are getting anything? Actually, it is your body's defense system. So what is your body defense system is nothing but if any foreign particle entered in your body, that is called as what? Antigen. Yes, if anything which is not your body part, if something coming from outside, your body immune system will be getting activated. So whenever your body immune system will getting activated, the first thing what it will do is it will raise your body temperature. Why it will raise your body temperature? Because with that temperature it wants to kill that organism which is present in your body. Your body itself will react if something wrong is happening in your body. It is designed in that way. So what we'll do, if you get our if there is increasing of body temperature, immediately we'll take paracetamol and we will take this tablet, and what it will do, it will reduce our body temperature. Yes or no? After taking this paracetamol, you will be getting sweat, you will be getting some sleep, you will be getting some rest, and obviously that will lead to the decreasing of temperature. If body temperature is decreased, will this antigen is killed? What it will do, it will double, triple, 4 times, 8 times, 16 times, geometric progression, arithmetic progression, you know that, right? Then what happened? There is increasing of this antigen, that will lead to increasing of further more infection. After 2 to 3 days, if you go to hospital, what they'll do? They will do the blood test and they'll say that you got this typhoid or malaria or whatever it may be. All these things are, we are alone with our hands, we are doing that. So whenever you are getting your body temperature, you should not take tablet immediately, which is paracetamol actually, because your body is fighting against that. Let your body fight against it. At least take 2 days of time. In 2 days of time, if you're not reducing or if you're not coming out of symptoms, then you have to start your antibiotics, not directly paracetamol. But actually we are doing something wrong actually. So that is the thing. Okay, now here in TB what happens? You will be having your body temperature very high, and even sometimes night sweats you will get, and blood with sputum, everything will be there. Okay, so what is the medicine that you have to take? If you want to kill any microorganism which is entering your body, you have to take. Okay, now tell me disease causing organisms, what are there? We have bacteria, we have fungus, yes or no? We have virus, we have protozoa. So for bacterial disease, what we have to take? Antibiotic. We have to take antibiotic for bacteria. Then for fungus, we have to take antifungals. And for virus we have to take antivirals. Okay, now let us keep this protozoa aside. This protozoa is a special case. Okay, so normally cold is caused by what? COVID-19 caused by SARS coronavirus. Then what we'll do, if we get any cold, we'll go and we'll take antibiotic. Will that works for this virus? The major problem in India is OTC, that is over-counter medication. If you are getting any disease, rather than going to a specialist, we are going for a medical shop and we'll say that I am having this pain, that pain, that pain, please give me medicine. What they'll do? They'll give simply antibiotic. So because of this, what is happening here? This will not act on that disease causing organism. In return, what is happening here? If you're taking these antibiotics more and more, it will create antibiotic resistance, or we can say in small, antimicrobial resistance it is causing. Okay, so the major problem with this TB is, even if you're getting this kind of cough, cold, we simply go to this medical shop and we'll ask them, and what they'll do, they will give just 6 tablets and they'll ask you to take 3 days continuously. But the minimum course of any antibiotic is minimum 5 days. In the case of TB, it will be 6 months to 9 months. But rather than taking this medicine 6 months to 9 months, if you are taking 3 days one medicine, even though if it is not reduced, means again we will go to that same shop, Deento Dagala, I want another medicine, and we'll take another medicine for 3 days. Then what is happening? There is no cure for this TB. There is increasing of antimicrobial resistance. That is a problem that we are facing in our country. So most of this Mycobacterium tuberculosis got resistance to first line and second line antibiotics. Okay. So for TB treatment, we have 2 drugs. First one is first line drugs. Second one is second line drugs. First line drug is isoniazid, rifampicin. In second line, we have streptomycin, like that. So the problem here in curing of TB is, whatever the first line drugs that we will give to cure this TB is already TB causing bacteria got resistance for this. Now we are using the second line drugs. So if you are using the second line drugs, these drugs are less effective than this. So because of this, what is happening? The treatment period is increasing in our country, and there is increasing of cost of healthcare in our country. And finally, already we have a target of eliminating of this TB in India by 2025. We crossed that also. Okay, so here this article is saying that we have to ensure proper medication, proper awareness of drugs. And people, if they are facing this cough, they should go for proper diagnostic tools. What kind of diagnostic we can do? First one is chest x-ray. You know this chest x-ray? X-ray of your chest. So they will be identifying like how far the infection is there in your lungs. And next one is they can do your blood test. In the blood, if any bacteria or if any microorganisms are there in your body, obviously WBC level will be increased. WBC is nothing but white blood cells level will be obviously increased. And next one is whenever you are coughing, there will be sputum, white color or yellow color or green color sputum will come. Sometimes blood will also come, that is in the very extreme cases. So what are the sputum which is coming from your throat, they will take that and they will test for this bacteria. And apart from that, there is one test called as Montag skin test. On your skin, they will be doing they will keep the patch. So if you are getting irritation of that patch, then that is called as positive. If there is no irritation, that is negative. So like that, we have different tests. So we have to sure go for testing for this TB and we have to take the right medicine so that we can control this TB. And the problem here is, especially in the rural areas, there is no sanitation. And this tuberculosis is a contagious disease. It will be spreading through this aerosols. If you're staying with a person who is having this TB for like 1 day or 2 days, while you're talking, while they are coughing or sneezing, that particles will enter into air. And if you breathe in, obviously you will be getting that. So there is no proper awareness of this taking care, sanitation, hygiene in the rural areas. And even the rural areas, there is no proper availability of this diagnostic tools. So now our government is focusing on improving of diagnostic tools for controlling of TB. Then only we can control this. And one more recent innovation that we came up is, we came up with this BPAL regime. BPAL is a new drug for this TB. And if you compare with this traditional drugs, the treatment plan is less than 6 months and they are most effective. And for this BPAL regime, till today, there is no antibiotic resistance which had been developed by this bacteria. Okay, so these are the something that you have to remember, guys. Okay, now let us see the article. If you say about this TB, TB is a bacterial infection. It is not viral, it is not fungal, or it is not protozoa. So UPSC can change this bacteria by virus or protozoa or anything. So you have to be very much careful. It is a bacterial infection caused by Mycobacterium tuberculosis, and it will be primarily affecting your lungs. Apart from the lungs, other organs of your body can also be affected. That is called as extrapulmonary TB. Okay, so other body parts like abdomen can be affected, other glands will be affected, bones will be affected, even nervous system will be getting affected. And it's spread through airborne transmission. That means whenever the patient is coughing or sneezing, so this bacteria will be there in that aerosols, and if you inhale that, obviously you will be getting that disease transmitted. And if you see the highlights of this TB in India, TB had been dropped to some extent in our country, but per every 1 lakh population, we have around 237 TB patients in our country. And if you see the mortality, so because of this advanced technology, medicines, everything, so we had reduced mortality related to this TB in our country. And even we are focusing on improved treatments. So as I said, no, so whenever this resistance is developed by this bacteria, that kind of cases are called as multi-drug resistant TB, and it is very difficult to treat this multi-drug resistance TB. So for that also government is trying to develop certain medications like BPAL regime. Okay, and if you see the state-wise data, Himachal Pradesh, Odisha and Gujarat, they are best performing states, and the least performing states are Punjab, Bihar and Karnataka in India. Okay, if you see about what are the government initiatives so far, can you tell me what kind of initiatives government came up to improve this treatment to this TB in our country? Recently, government launched 100-day program for increasing of diagnostic tools for TB. And this one is we have PM. Come on, tell me. What are the schemes government launched? Government is providing financial assistance. Why financial assistance? If patients are not taking proper nutritious diet, then what happens? This infection will be rapidly affecting other organs also. So because of this, what happened? The complexity will be increasing. So for providing the nutrition to this TB patients, government came up with a program of providing financial assistance. Earlier, government used to give 500 rupees for the patient, but now it increased it to 1000 rupees. What is that program is about? We discussed in earlier class. Come on, think. Okay, first one here is government wants to eliminate this TB by 2025. So for that, monthly government is providing support of 500 rupees of direct benefit transfer. That means government will be sending this 500 rupees to the account of that patient. Now that had been increased to 1000 rupees. And next one here is government came up with this Akshay Mitra program where volunteers can provide monthly nutrition kits for the adopted patients. And next one is we are increasing diagnostic tests like CB-NAT and TrueNAT to test and detect these TB cases. And next one here is we are also developing mobile laboratory centers to test the samples of sputum of these people. And WHO also came up with a strategy called as End TB strategy. In that End TB strategy, government is focusing on reduction of 80% of cases. Okay. See this next article, guys. Path ahead for Nepal's new leadership. What is this article talking about? New leadership in Nepal started and how it is going to be affect our India-Nepal relations, right? So what do you know about this Nepal? Recently, what happened in Nepal? Gen Z protest for what? Huh? Yes, ban of social media, corruption, unemployment in this Nepal. So because of these three reasons, Gen Z protest started. And this Gen Z people, youth people, they attacked parliament. And because of that everything, even Prime Minister Oli resigned. And now recent elections done in Nepal. And finally they elected youth leader. Because of this, it is in news. Okay, see here, recent elections in Nepal on March 5th marked a significant shift of politics in Nepal because the earlier it was like the political party and the leader was Oli. The people from this Oli family used to rule this Nepal. Finally, because of these elections, that traditional old things had been removed now in Nepal. So because of this, we can say that there is a political shift in Nepal politics. If you see the rejection of old political god, so this victory sends a strong message that they are going to reject the traditional political leadership. And the elections followed by youth-led mass protest 6 months earlier, which resulted in the resignation of Sharma Oli as Prime Minister, and that led to the dissolution of parliament in Nepal. And why this protest happened? Because of three reasons. First one is ban of social media, second one is corruption, and third one is rising of unemployment crisis in Nepal. Okay, and finally they formed a new government now. So now what are the challenges before this new government? So new government has to increase employment opportunities, they want to decrease corruption, and they want to ensure democracy in this Nepal. So these are the three important social challenges which are present before this newly formed government of Nepal. And even they want to ensure equality as well, because as you all know that Nepal is a Himalayan country. So in Himalayas, in yesterday's class we discussed, there will be a huge disasters. Which kind of disasters we can see? Landslides we can see, slow avalanches we can see, glacial lake outburst floods we can see, and this Himalayas or the source of perennial rivers also. If melting happening at a faster pace, there will be increase in the water in this perennial rivers. That will lead to floods. So these all disasters will lead to increasing of inequality in this Nepal. So they have to control this inequality now. So how can they ensure equality? By wealth redistribution. And this one is corruption is rampant, so they have to remove this corruption in this area. So these are the major socio-economic challenges before this new government. And what is India's role? India has to obviously engage with this new generation leaders. And this one here is Nepal is also one of the important largest trading partner of India. If you want to ensure our exports diversity, obviously we have to maintain good relationship with Nepal. And with Nepal, not only the economic relations, even societal relations were there. For example, we are sharing boundary with Nepal, right? So there, at this border of India and Nepal, there were maritime alliances. Indians will marry Nepalis, Nepalis will marry Indians. So we have to maintain proper societal relations also at this area. And this one here is we have to enhance good relationships so that we can have good connectivity projects. And even we are buying hydroelectricity from this Nepal also. So if you want to ensure all this energy security, obviously we have to maintain good relations with Nepal. So that is the thing, guys. And see these questions. First one is consider the following statements regarding PAC Silica. First statement, it is a US-led initiative to secure semiconductor and AI supply chains. Second one, it is a legally binding multilateral treaty under United Nations. Third one, it aims to reduce dependence on adversarial countries in critical technologies. Which of the above statements are correct? Think 1 and 3, because it is not at all United Relations related thing, and this one here is it is not at all binding, it is non-binding. Are you understanding? So normally if you see PYQs, they'll keep this word United Nations, United Nations. So you have to be very much careful. Okay? And see this next question. Because of this Nepal elections, Nepal issue is in news, you may also get a question related to this map of India and Nepal, which states, or else they may ask you the rivers which are flowing between India and Nepal. They may ask about Lipu Lake, Limpiadura, Kalapani regions. Okay, so you have to be very much careful with this kind of maps also. See here, which of the following Indian states share a border with Nepal? Uttarakhand, UP, Bihar, West Bengal, Sikkim. And tell me guys, which state is sharing largest boundary? UP or Sikkim or West Bengal? UP? See that once. Okay, that's all guys. So by this and concluding, thank you so much guys for watching, and if you really like this class, please do hit the like button and please do share this class to your friends.